I'm Stephanie,
I'm Meredith.
and welcome to This Is My Circus.
So you rearranged a little bit in your office again.
A little bit, just so we have a
Yeah.
little bit more. I wasn't like on
I
top of
like
you.
it. I like it. No. Well, I like that too. I'm always like trying to find just like resituate things like you were saying. It feels like it's never perfect.
Yeah.
Feels like there's always something like and I can't figure it out in my office at home either.
Yeah.
So I keep switching things around too in there.
So I looked into two different mics.
Okay.
But it said that there is like a way to do it on the Mac with two mics,
Okay.
but we would have to be like,
Far away.
and then I think we would need two cameras. And then
Well, that just got really complicated.
yeah, and I was like, you know what? One mic's okay.
Fine. We're fine because it picks us up well without us being, too close.
Yeah.
I think it's okay.
Yeah, so we would have to be on like opposite ends of the desk,
Yeah.
and then each have our own, and then we wouldn't have that like
Yeah.
vibe, I don't think.
Right.
Because if we had two mics,
Unless when we're big time one day
uh-huh.
and we have our own office
Uh-huh.
space, which is not mandatory to go into unless it's a recording day, we'll have two desks facing each other.
Or we can just have two really comfy chairs and just have
Yeah.
a mic.
Yeah. What was I thinking?
Like we don't need desks.
No, we don't need a desk. Actually, just get me one of those big sleeping things like you have with Rex.
Oh yeah.
The human dog bed. That'd be fun.
So I woke up this morning and Rex was like curled on like the one side of it. Like and so he had left me all this room to lay in there with him and it was just calling me. So I jumped in bed with him in his bed and I brought a blanket and we just snuggled
Just
under
snuggled for a little bit.
for like 30 minutes.
Now, did you let the dog sitter person know that that was a prerequisite that they have to?
She just was like, I just want to like love on him. So I don't think
Okay.
it's like a
It's not gonna be a
I
problem.
don't think so. Yeah.
But I don't want her to love on him too much.
I know.
Oh goodness. So how you been doing?
Pretty good, I think. Nothing, I mean, I
Yeah.
feel a lot better
You
than I
sound a lot
was.
better. You sound normal.
Thank God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing really new has been going on.
Yeah.
Dylan
But
started school today
okay.
from winter break.
Oh my gosh. It's like they've been out for 6 months.
Well, he started his dual enrollment college classes.
Yeah. Today?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So, yeah, so he only goes to school 2 days a week or 2 days a week now because he has college classes.
And they're all online.
It's on Mondays and Wednesdays, I think.
Okay.
So they
Okay.
actually have a teacher that's at the school. They go there,
Oh,
they do
okay.
their course, and then they have homework and stuff that they can do at home.
Cool. That's so good.
Yeah. I think next
Good.
year he's gonna do his dual enrollment at York Tech, so he
Mhm.
can do his actual like classes,
Yeah.
not just like English and math or whatever.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy to
So
think about.
he'll graduate with like a year under his belt.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm not ready for graduation.
Oh
Let's not talk
God.
about it.
No, it's not. Moving right along. Moving right along.
He did let his coaches know he's not playing lacrosse this
Okay.
season. So
He's 100% out.
yeah, I'm a little bummed,
I
but
get that.
yeah,
Well, when
it's
it's
his
been,
decision. And
yeah, when it's been such a part of your life, your family's life for so long, and we've talked about before,
Mhm.
like that's where we make our friends and our
Mhm.
connect. That's how we met.
Yeah,
We would have met anyway because the stars would have
aligned.
aligned. But I mean, that's how we make so many connections.
Mhm.
So that's tough.
Yeah,
Are
and I
you?
just really enjoy watching him play. Like when
Yes.
he's in that game, like
Yeah.
he is on fire, and I love watching him do his thing on the field. It
Yeah.
brings me so much joy to see
Right.
it.
And
And
just pride to know I made that.
yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, so I was definitely disappointed, not in him, just in the situation.
yeah.
I'm proud of him for making a decision that he feels is best for him, and he
Yeah.
really thought it out, and we had a big discussion.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those like growing up moments,
Yes.
and
Absolutely.
so I'm proud of him for making the decision he wanted to make,
Yeah.
knowing that that's what was best for him. But I'm bummed for me as a mom.
I know. I understand that. I get it. That's got to be tough. That time comes for all of us, though. Just like different, whatever, whether it be the end of their aging out, they make the decision, or whatever. But it's just at least you got a little prepared
Yeah.
for it,
Mhm.
just like a bomb drop.
Yeah, so it is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Let's not talk about that anymore
Yeah,
either.
no crying. No.
No crying. So sports. Jackson had a basketball game last week,
Mhm.
and they played against the team from Australia.
Oh yeah. How did that go?
It was good.
Was it awesome?
It was so much fun. Well, for me, because I don't play. But so they did good. They had a good time. They ended up playing well. Well, there was like 4 games between the JV and varsity, both girls teams, and then JV and varsity boys teams.
Mhm.
So like we were there for a long time. Of course, I go walking around making friends.
Of course.
So I talked to 4 girls because I was talking to them while the varsity boys were playing. And I was like, am I going to get you guys in trouble for not watching? You know, they're like, no, we love to talk. That was my British accent again. But I talked to Alex, Anna, Bridget, and Liv. And
That.
they were so, and I told them, they were so kind. I was like, thank you for just entertaining my questions and stuff. They were so much fun to chat with.
Good.
And I was like, you know, this weird old lady that they were just sitting there with. And,
You're not old. Stop that.
yeah, silly me. Weird young lady. So that was so
I didn't
neat.
comment on the weird. I was like,
Oh, well, we know that. I mean, there's no hiding that. There's stuff that can hide the old, but there's not stuff that can hide the weird. T-shirt, mark that down. But they were like we talked about the differences in the schools and stuff. So they were from Melbourne, Australia. So that's like southern coastal. So 30 minutes from the beach.
mm-hmm.
Some of them surfed.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to all girls schools.
Oh.
So the people that were there weren't necessarily from one school. It was more kind of like a club, like those from the same area, but lots
Like a
of
traveling?
yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. But not all of them knew each other, and it was reasonable. It was like $5,000.
Oh.
And they were here they've got another week, so they're here for 3 weeks.
Oh,
and
wow.
and they have been to California, they've been to Texas, they were here, they went to North Carolina.
Holy
But they got to
moly.
do a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they indulged me, my little
That's cool.
Australian. Yeah, kangaroos are real, like everywhere. I mean, we knew they were real, but like they were like kangaroos are real. They said you drive by a field and there'll be like a lot in a field.
Like how we have cows, they have kangaroos.
Yes, or deer.
Okay.
Like you just see them, and they were like they're really jacked, and I was like they're huge. Like we said jacked at the same time, and they were like y'all say that too, and I was, or they didn't say y'all, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was really cool
Awesome.
to talk to them. So
Do they have like weird animals that get in their house?
I did not ask them that question.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ask them that question, but we talked about snakes. You know, they have a lot of snakes
Oh.
there. Yeah, they have a lot of snakes there. I did not get to ask them about the wombat. They wear uniforms at school, and they're kind of split with if they like it or not. You know, some are like, well, I don't have to think about what I'm going to wear.
Yeah.
Like a tie and a suit. It's crazy. It was really, really cool. And they looked so young, but they were older. Like they were 18, and I thought they were like 16, 15.
Yeah.
They just were all so fresh faced. Not a lot of makeup. I don't know. Take all this out.
Not like us.
This is no. But you know, like a lot of times, like all the makeup and the eyelashes, and I like all that stuff. Don't get me wrong. If I could do it all, I would. But they weren't doing into any of that.
Yeah.
They were just, I mean, and they're athletes too, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. Don't make me sound weird.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. So they have another game tomorrow night, and then season's kind of about halfway, so it's winding down a little bit now. And they had football awards last week.
Okay.
Jackson got an award.
Yeah.
So he got an award for good grades, which he should.
Congratulations, Jackson.
Yeah. And then he got all region.
Oh, wow.
And they had to explain to me what that meant, because I did not know what that meant. So let me explain it for the people like me who don't know. So,
it sounds fancy, so that's why I was like,
right,
oh.
right, exactly. Like, oh, so I thought it was like, okay, there's 20 awards, the 20 best players get the award. That's not how it works. What it is there's an award for every region, every position. And basically, he's the best person in his region, in his position. Voted on by coaches, like all the coaches of all the schools in the region.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, just bragging for a little bit.
Good job, Jackson.
I'm very proud of him for that.
Aww.
Very proud of him for that. So that's been keeping us busy. And then, you know, we had Arctic Storm 2025. Such a bust.
It was such a bust.
Such a bust.
And if these eggs don't, the pricing, like first of all,
it's crazy.
Okay, I legit had to go grocery shopping. I was out of stuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't there because of the storm. Like I
Right.
wasn't there freaking out thinking like I wouldn't have food for 10 days.
Right.
I legit needed to go grocery shopping. I was out of eggs. I was out of like almond milk. I was out of like the necessities. I went to 3 different stores. 3 different stores did not have eggs. All there was like the egg substitute.
Oh my gosh.
And so I got that because Dylan eats eggs every day.
Yeah.
For breakfast or whatever. And so I got that. And after the 3 stores that I went to, he was going to the gym, and he goes to the gym in Clover. So I asked him if he can go stop at Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah. See what they got.
He said there was nothing there.
Gosh.
So 4 stores in our area did not have a single egg. Not even like the super fancy expensive eggs.
Right, not like the organic, where they basically just catch it when it comes out of the chicken. Don't ever let it touch anything that's not natural.
But I was like, oh my gosh. So I went today to the grocery store because we still hadn't gotten eggs. I hadn't gone since then. And the prices
I
are
know. They're
crazy.
crazy. So did you get 12 or
I
18?
got 18 and it
How
was like $6.49.
That's crazy. I remember, gather around, youngins, let mama tell you a story. But it wasn't too long ago that like like a dozen eggs were like $2.
Huh.
What is going on? Are chickens scarce right now?
Something about bird flu is what my mom had told me.
Eye roll emoji.
Yes. So, yeah,
So are we going to invest in some chickens?
in my neighborhood, we're not allowed to. We
We're
have
not
an
allowed
HOA.
to. It's crazy. I live in the middle of nowhere, but we're not supposed to have farm animals out. Farm animals. We can have
Well,
barn animals.
somebody's got a pig because a pig was like roaming loose like a year ago. Like down Main Street, like coming into Main Street when I was driving Dylan to school. Somebody had lost a pig in that area.
Oh my gosh.
And it was on one of the
Yeah.
Clover groups, and it was somebody that lived like right in town that had the pig.
We've had random goats show up in our.
You got all sorts of animals.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
And the bear.
I saw this video of a guy who has a pet goat, and like he has fake arguments with this goat. It's the funniest.
Is it one of the fainting goats? Goats?
No, but he's like, wow, like he makes like the funniest noise. He's like, wow.
I love, love, love the videos of the goats that are fainting or the little goats wearing pajamas. Anything, they're cute.
Look at they hop. Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And I watched a video the other day. Somebody got their goats a trampoline because they like to jump so much. Oh, yeah. Cute.
Oh, I love that.
I'm going to have to find the argumentative goat.
Well, I saw this really stupid article.
Mm-hmm.
It was this guy cut his face shaving
Mm-hmm.
and sued the razor company and got like $6,350
What?
because he nicked his face shaving.
I could have so much money from.
Thank you. And he was saying, like the one that you replaced the head of the razor.
Uh-huh.
He said it was a faulty razor, and I call BS. And
Yeah.
I'm sure the company was like, it's not even worth. Give him a check.
Yeah.
I'm sure. So I found ridiculous lawsuits
Bring it.
against companies that we love.
Okay. I cannot believe that they made money off of that. That's crazy.
It makes me so mad. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's like a legit thing that really like
If the-
requires
Right. If the blade like was broken and cut his neck and he almost bled out.
yeah. I mean, come on.
I mean,
No, it was
things
and
happen.
he had a picture. Like he took a picture
Yeah.
like, for evidence.
Oh,
But he threw out the razor.
oh,
He didn't
how
save the faulty
convenient.
razor, but he took a picture of the blood dripping down his face. But it was like,
Hopefully he still lost money by the time he paid an attorney and paid whatever.
all right, so ridiculous lawsuits against the brands you love.
Okay.
So starting out with Starbucks. A Chicago woman, Stacy Pincus, filed a $5 million class action lawsuit against Starbucks in April 2016, claiming the company puts too much ice in its cold drinks. The lawsuit accused Starbucks of advertising iced drinks as 24-ounce beverages when the cup only contained 14 ounces of fluid.
How can you sue somebody for that?
I don't know, but I will say they do add a lot of ice. Like
They do.
their pink drink, like
Yeah.
if you took out all the ice, it'd be like this much.
Well, and I usually get light ice
Mhm.
wherever I go.
Yeah.
So, pro tip for everybody there. Okay, what was the result?
The result, named the most frivolous lawsuit of 2016 by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Institute for Legal Reform, the $5 million lawsuit was dismissed by a Chicago federal judge in late 2016. And if you're worried about not getting your money's worth for your iced drink at Starbucks, here is a solution. Request light ice.
There you go. I could be a lawyer. That is crazy.
I know. That is what it is.
It is what it is. Okay, Hershey Company. Can I read this one?
Uh-huh.
Okay, Robert Bratton of Missouri filed a lawsuit claiming that the Hershey Company intentionally sells partially full packages of Whoppers, Reese's Pieces, and other products. In May 2017, his $5 million class action lawsuit was given the green light to move forward by U.S. District Judge Nanette Lowry.
The result?
On February 16, 2018, Bratton's case was thrown out. U.S. District Judge Lowry concluded that Bratton wasn't really harmed because even though he realized that the packages of Whoppers and Reese's Pieces candy weren't full, he continued to buy them. And buy he did. Over the course of a decade, he bought over 600 packages of the sweet treats.
Holy moly.
Okay, so a decade, 600. So 60 a year?
Uh-huh. Like, what size packages are we talking? Like, are we talking like the family size, or are we talking like the
Right.
ones at the register?
Yeah.
I need details.
I know, I do too. Okay.
Subway.
Oh, Lord.
In 2013, a group of Subway customers filed a class action lawsuit against the chain, claiming its foot-long subs didn't always measure up to 12 inches.
I remember this one.
Because the lawsuit was consolidated, some plaintiffs were seeking up to $5 million from the sandwich chain. U.S. District Judge Lynn Aldman called the case quite weak, and Subway was cleared of deceptive marketing practices, but agreed to make sure subs are the proper size in the future and would pay $520,000 in attorney fees and $500 to each of the 10 plaintiffs. $520,000 in attorney fees. The result, just when both parties thought the lawsuit had been put to rest, it was appealed by the Competitive Enterprise Institute's Center for Class Action Fairness, filed in March 2016. The appeal claims the settlement offered no benefit to the majority of the class, just like Subway's bread. The payout came up short. That was a good pun.
Yeah.
On August 25th, 2017, the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals rejected the settlement in the Subway case because it would have left the class with nothing. So
Oh
what
my
happened?
goodness. They just rejected it.
Yeah.
But now I want Subway.
Dylan can hook you up.
Is he there?
No, he's here.
He's here. That's right. Okay. The Home Depot. Oh. Oh. Okay. One of the more recent court cases, a group of Chicago plaintiffs filed a class action lawsuit against Home Depot in 2017 because the store's 4x4 lumber actually measures out to be 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches on each side.
Size does matter, Home
It
Depot.
does matter. Home Depot and other lumber suppliers have explained that 4x4 is just the name of the boards, as the industry standard dimensions actually are 3.5 by 3.5. Nevertheless, the plaintiffs sought more than $5 million in damages. The result. On March 12, 2018, U.S. District Judge Sharon Johnson Coleman rejected the plaintiff's claim and dismissed the case against Home Depot without prejudice. This means the plaintiffs are free to refile their complaint if they so choose. So it's just called a 4x4.
I thought for sure it meant something.
I think maybe it used to. Like maybe when boards were first made.
Does anybody know the history of 4x4s?
You know
Please.
what? We really don't even want to know.
No, I don't. I just assumed that it meant
Yeah,
like a
me
measurement.
too.
I just assumed. I don't know. All right. McDonald's. California resident Webster Lucas sued the company for $1.5 million in 2014 because he only received one napkin with his meal. Are you freaking kidding me?
This is what makes me insane, is that these are fixable things. Like, go get yourself another napkin.
Ask for another napkin.
Right.
Uh,
Okay.
After a potentially racially charged argument with the manager, Lucas was offered free burgers, but he claimed the incident left him emotionally distressed and unable to work. Come on.
Right.
Unlike the McDonald's hot coffee lawsuit of 1994, no one actually got hurt from the napkin gate. The result, apparently Lucas is no stranger to taking on fast food corporations. According to NBC Los Angeles, prior to filing suit on McDonald's, he had filed against Jack in the Box without receiving any compensation for his claims. Lucas is a vexatious
Exactly. I use that word a lot.
a vexatious litigant, a person who files frivolous claims, according to NBC. At the time of the McDonald's lawsuit, Lucas was not on California's vexatious litigant list, which prohibits those on the list from future filings for a set amount of time. But he was, as recently as March 2018, with his 2014 case listed as the reason why. So he's put on the do not sue.
Do not let him sue anybody list. Or commonly known as a vexatious litigant, or whatever it was called. Wow. Just get another napkin.
Get another napkin. I want to know what the Jack in the Box one was for.
Probably the same thing.
He didn't receive a straw. I hate when that happens, though. That does make me
That
mad.
is tough. That is bad. That is bad. Do you keep extra napkins like in your glove box though? Me too. Have you seen the meme that says people who don't do that are like on a whole nother level of income? Okay, British Airways. Dr. Edward Gamson and his partner booked a first-class flight through British Airways to Granada, Spain in 2014, but a ticket mix-up sent the North Bethesda, Maryland couple to the small Caribbean island country of Grenada. Oh, Granada was spelled correctly on their tickets, but the couple didn't notice they were headed in the wrong direction until 20 minutes after their St. Lucia-bound flight departed from London. In total, they took 7 different flights over 3 days to finally get to Lisbon, Portugal, where Gampson had a conference. The Granada-Spain trip was supposed to be an added excursion, which cost $2,776. The result: he tried to sue British Airways for $34,000, which he said covered the first-class flights and lost wages, but his case was dismissed. Gampson maybe should have stayed in Granada. It had some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. I mean, I guess check your tickets. Like, I can see that'd be a tough thing, but I don't know if they're at fault for you buying a ticket for the wrong place.
Yeah. Whatever flight I was on last, they had to check everybody's ticket. Somebody got on the wrong flight. And then I'm like, how does that happen? Because when you're giving them your whatever,
Yeah.
scanning your little QR code or whatever you're doing, should they not be checking that? And shouldn't it throw up like a red flag, like wrong flight?
Right.
I don't understand how that happens. They went through every single seat and made sure that everybody was on the right flight
Oh
before
my
we took off.
gosh.
Custom cleaners. Administrative law judge Roy Pearson filed a $67 million lawsuit against Custom Cleaners, a Washington, D.C. dry cleaner, for allegedly losing a pair of pants. $67 million? Are they made out of gold?
Yes.
The 2007 civil litigation made national headlines because of its outrageous nature. When the dry cleaner found the pants, Pearson claimed they weren't his and demanded $1,000 for a new suit. His request was denied, which spawned a lawsuit, which he eventually dropped to a more reasonable $54 million.
Oh my gosh.
The result: the judge ruled in favor of Custom Cleaners and forced Pearson to pay the business court fees, which totaled roughly $1,000. But Pearson's troubles weren't over. In 2016, the Washington Post reported that the D.C. Board of Professional Responsibility found that Pearson committed 2 ethics violations in regards to the Custom Cleaners case and recommended sanctions that included Pearson being placed on probation from the practice of law for 2 years.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so in his defense, though, like, he asked for the money for a suit to replace it, and they said no.
But if those were really his pants, he was just trying to get a new suit.
Yeah.
They found his pants.
Yeah, you're right. I was just stuck on that. They wouldn't give it to him.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Beck's Beer. Australian for beer. Do you remember those commercials? Of course, that's the one I get. In 2013, several Beck's Beer aficionados filed a class action lawsuit against Anheuser-Busch seeking upward of $5 million because they claim deceptive packaging caused them to believe the beverage was manufactured in Germany. Production was moved to St. Louis in 2012, but made in the USA almost non-existent was on the label. The result: the court ruled in the plaintiff's favor, and U.S. Magistrate Judge John O'Sullivan approved a settlement for customers who purchased Beck's Pilsner, Beck's Dark, Beck's Light, and Beck's Oktoberfest from May 2011 to June 23rd, 2015. Those with receipts were able to file a claim for up to $50 per household or up to $12 without a receipt.
Okay. I would never even look at it.
I wouldn't either.
I've never. Nike. Imprisoned pimp Sergio. Let me start over. I wasn't expecting that.
Okay.
Imprisoned pimp. So Giorgio?
Mm-hmm.
That's a name.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Maybe her's Sir Giorgio.
You know what? Imprisoned pimp Clardy sued Nike for $100 million in 2014, claiming his Air Jordan sneakers should have come with the warning that they could be used as a dangerous weapon. Clardy received a 100-year prison sentence for stomping on the face of Portland, Oregon prostitution customer who tried to flee a motel without paying.
There's a lot to unpack there. A lot to unpack in that one. There's a lot going on there.
Okay, the result. Clardy served as his own litigation lawyer, appearing by video feed from where he was incarcerated. Nike's lawyer spoke for less than 90 seconds, reported
The newspaper.
Yep. Whereas Clardy rambled on, often off topic, for most of the rest of the hearing. After he failed to prove his case, it was promptly dismissed. So the pimp stomped somebody's face and then wanted to blame it on Nike for $100 million.
Like, you shouldn't be able to do that. The shoe should stop.
The shoe made your foot do this.
I wonder if that basketball player that fell through a shoe. Do you remember him? His name was Zion.
Fell through a what?
He fell through his shoe. He slid through. He stopped really fast and like his shoe exploded and he went through his shoe and he lost. Yeah, you would have laughed. I want to say it was his rookie year and he lost a lot of playing time because of it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna tell me he lost a toe.
No, his toes, as far as I know, were fine.
I thought that's where that was going.
His toes were fine, as far allegedly, I guess.
Oh my God.
One more?
Yeah.
Okay. Universal Studios. People attend Universal Studios Florida's annual Halloween Horror Nights to enjoy some fun and frights, but one grandma got more than she bargained for. Miss Peters sued Universal Studios in 1998 for emotional and physical damage stemming from a visit to one of the haunted house attractions. At the end of the haunted house, which Peters was visiting with her grandchild, a man wielding a chainsaw prop frightened them, so they ran hurriedly for the exit door. Unfortunately for Peters, there was a puddle outside the door that caused her to slip and fall. She sued Universal for $15,000 for physical injuries as well as extreme fear, emotional distress, and mental anguish, the Orlando Sentinel reported. The result? Peters' lawsuit never made it to trial. The case was settled out of court according to the book, of course.
It wasn't like she was suing for millions.
No, and I'm good with that. You fall, you get hurt, you got doctor's bills, you got to go back and forth to them.
Yeah. When I was in college, I was at a grocery store. However, I was intoxicated. And because it was like a snowy night in Pennsylvania. And so there was water on the floor just from people's shoes. And when I tell you I busted my butt,
did?
It was like the cartoon, like where like your feet slip out and
Oh.
you end up on your back.
Yeah.
And I sat and I laughed for like 5 minutes. I couldn't
You were just laughing at yourself.
the workers came, they're like, "You okay?" And I couldn't stop laughing.
You were just like, I have a list of things I'd like to tell you about, and I want to see how you feel about these.
Okay.
These are the songs that are turning 25 in 2025.
Don't do this to me. I'm old.
Breathe by Faith Hill. I never liked that song.
Mm-mm.
Smooth featuring Rob Thomas with Santana.
I'd have to hear it. I don't know.
Do you want me to sing?
Yeah.
'Cause you're so smooth. That did not sound like you. I can't remember any other words. Okay. Maria.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I Want to Know by Joe. I can't remember that.
I want to know.
Everything You Want by Vertical Horizon. I'm just going to do the top 10. Say My Name by Destiny's Child. I Knew I Loved You by Savage Garden. Amazed by Lone Star. Bent Matchbox 20. He Wasn't Man Enough by Toni Braxton. Okay, none of those were impressive. But how about the Thong Song?
Thong, thong, thong.
What a Girl Wants, Christina Aguilera. Bye Bye Bye.
We don't like Justin anymore.
No, we don't, but it's crazy that they're 25 years old.
That makes a lot
It's gonna be me. That's crazy that those are that old. Some Creed songs.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. But I don't really like new music.
I don't either, but I don't like really any of these songs. These weren't my music. Like I wasn't a Faith Hill. I wasn't a Savage Garden, not a Lone Star fan.
Well, my alligator loving friend, do you also like crocodiles?
I do.
Well, in Indonesia, have you heard this?
Tell me.
Indonesia, the crocodiles are faking drowning to lure humans into the water to attack. No joke. Like, look at this picture. Like, they're waving their hands out of the water, and they look like hands. And trying to lure humans into the water.
What?
Yes. So this article says that a new video making waves online suggests that the crocodiles may be using clever tricks to capture prey. The clip narrates with a British accent, depicts a crocodile appearing to fake drown in order to attract unsuspecting humans into the water. While at first glance this idea may seem far-fetched, the possibility of this behavior has captured attention. Could crocodiles be smart enough to lure tourists into their jaws? And
that is cray.
Watch this video. It looks like human arms and hands.
They've evolved.
So we have the whales attacking boats, and now crocodiles faking drowning to eat humans.
I'm in shock.
So your little scaly friends,
little scaly friends need to not be so deceptive.
Slow their roll.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy.
Right?
That looked freaky. Not gonna lie, that looked freaky.
Dude, like the animals are like,
yeah,
they are fighting back.
Oh my goodness, that's
So
crazy.
we've all heard of the California fires,
Yes.
right? Which is horrible.
Yeah.
And there's so many different theories out there right now about
Mm-hmm.
what is actually going on
Mm-hmm.
because nobody believes it's just,
Fires.
yeah. Do you remember Laguna Beach in the Hills?
Mm-hmm.
The shows,
Mm-hmm.
Spencer Pratt.
I didn't watch them, but I remember, and yeah, the name Spencer Pratt. Yeah.
So Spencer was like the most hated character on the
Okay.
show,
Okay.
and he was like, made to be the villain.
Okay.
And him and Heidi are still married to this day.
Really?
Yeah,
Was it like a
it
was
was
it like a
scripted.
Jersey Shore?
Yeah, it was scripted
Okay.
reality.
Okay. I couldn't think of reality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so the Laguna Beach started out like they were in high school, and then the Hills is when they were starting their careers and
Okay.
stuff. So everybody hated Spencer and Heidi. Well, Spencer has like the driest sense of humor,
Mm-hmm.
and he has gone like viral on TikTok right now because his house burned down.
Okay.
But he was doing videos like TikToks
Okay.
while this was happening, like showing there's nobody coming to. There's no fire trucks. They live right next to a water reserve or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Showed like the locks were never taken off. Nobody even tried to access those.
Wow.
So he has gone viral on
Mm-hmm.
TikTok. He was like, well, if I knew that my house burned down was get me to hit 1 million followers, like what were we waiting for, guys? Like,
Such a smart Alex.
I like he is so much fun to watch, but he is like his wife's #1 supporter.
Really?
I mean, people said that they saw him out just like walking around, like not anytime recently.
Yeah.
He had his Heidi Montag shirt on, like I mean, just always supporting her, always
What
like
does she do now?
she is a singer.
Okay.
She had an album, I guess, like years
Okay.
ago. I think they just made a new one.
Okay.
She's still trying to do her music career, but everybody now is supporting them.
Well, I've seen some TikToks recently, and it's like, I support you. And I was like, what is going
So
on?
like they're trying to make money off of all the TikToks to rebuild their house or to get a new house or whatever, because they don't. I mean, they're not rich. Like they are not like rolling in money.
Mm-hmm.
They would lived in the Palisades, but it's because his parents bought that house years ago.
Okay. Yeah, those fires out there are crazy. I mean, all the different things about, the water reservoirs.
Being empty.
Uh-huh. And they were supposed to have renewed some of that stuff recently and like contracts, I think, with fire departments and
So Trump
crazy.
had, when he was still president last time, made comments about Gavin Newsom,
Mm-hmm.
the governor of
Mm-hmm.
California, saying that it was like irresponsible with the water supplies and that the farmers couldn't get water. It was like being redirected to some endangered fish somewhere. They couldn't take water from wherever to refill
Mm-hmm.
all of the reservoirs because there was an endangered fish somewhere. And so none of the farmers were getting adequate water. And so this was back in like 2016 when Trump
Wow.
started making these statements. And
Here
we
we
see where we are at now. But there was also something, I forgot what it was called, like Project 2028 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They want to bring the Olympics to LA and they wanted it like a carless experience.
Okay.
And so they want to build this high-speed train railway
Okay.
down the coast. And there was a picture of where the railway they want to put it and the exact pattern of the fires. And it
Stop
follows
it.
the exact pattern.
Wow.
So they said that in order just to get permits to clean up, it takes like forever, like years.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody had said in one of the previous fires that their pool had like a bunch of like animals in it because the animals were
Mm-hmm.
fleeing,
Mm-hmm.
and it took a year to get a permit to empty the pool.
Oh my
So you have
God.
all of these homes, you're not going to get the permits anytime soon
Right.
to rebuild if you have the money to rebuild.
Right.
And what happens then? The government takes the land
Oh my gosh.
for pennies on the dollar. It's just like the Maui fires.
Yeah. Yeah. That is crazy. Yeah,
So,
you're right. Well, we'll follow that.
and
I
then
don't want to say too much.
did you hear with the North Carolina, with the
Mm-hmm.
mountains, that there's lithium there?
Yes.
And there's the theory that
Mm-hmm.
this all happened because of the lithium.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in California, there is a lake that is sitting on top of the world's largest lithium supply.
Okay. Is it in this Path of the Fires?
It's in that area, somewhere around there.
Wow.
So I don't know. I mean, these are all just theories, but it just seems kind of fishy. Well, Spencer Pratt now wants to do a class action lawsuit against California because he said that this is not an electrical fire. This is not whatever they're saying this is caused by. because he has from his Ring doorbell camera, has a video of where there was an explosion. Like, it was not a
What?
fire, it was like an explosion.
What? Because the thing that I keep hearing is that a homeless guy started the fires. And then it's just like,
Well, they had tried saying that it was an electrical wire,
mm-hmm. I already heard that one.
and then with the winds, it just spread,
Right.
and they couldn't contain it. There are people now running around though, neighborhoods like setting fire. Like, why? Why?
Right. Right.
Unless they're being paid by whatever.
Whoever. I think it was one night last week. It might have even been New Year's Eve, whenever that was. I was coming down my road, and it was nighttime. And, my road is kind of windy, and it's dark. There's not a lot out there. Well, I can see at what I think is at my house, flames up, like, to the ceiling. Past the roof. It was crazy. It was terrifying. So I'm going down the road. By the time I made all the turns to get there, it was on the other side of the road from my house. And it was like they had like a burn pile out there with like pallets and trees and limbs from the storms and stuff. So, and they had told me they were going to be doing it. But in that moment, it was just terrifying just to see these huge flames 30 feet in the air from that far away.
Yeah.
Scared me. Not as terrifying, though, as this that I found out.
Huh.
Did you know that in Nordic countries, they let their babies sleep outside?
Yes.
And honestly, I'm not really terrified of it. It's fascinating to me.
Not for me.
Not for you.
No. Like, it would not be for me. Like, I like, as an adult, don't want to sleep outside. Like,
Right. But that is crazy. They like put them in their little prams or whatever they call them, and they just put them outside and bundle them up. And
yeah.
that is crazy to me. Okay.
Besides, like, the animal factor.
Yeah.
A woolly mammoth comes.
Is that where they are from? The Nordic region?
I don't know. I think
Well,
so.
between that and then just crazy people.
Yeah.
But but I don't think they have the crime like we have here.
Yeah. Well, speaking of crime, in California at a Army Reserve Center in Orange County, California, they were robbed. And when I tell you this, hold on. Okay. So what was taken was 8 machine gun vehicle mounts, 7 standing machine gun tripods, medical equipment, 40 pairs of binoculars, 18 bayonets, 3 Humvees, 1 which was armored, and all the suspects did was break 1 lock to get in there. So here's my questions for this. Like, there's so much wrong with this whole situation.
that is cray.
Why is it so easy to break in to where all of the Army equipment is? Like, why is it 1 lock?
Right.
How can they not have GPS on these vehicles? There's GPS on everything. There's GPS on your phone.
There probably is GPS on them. They just don't want to look.
Yeah. What, security footage? Like, is there not security footage? How is that not like, you have security footage in freaking Walmart.
Right.
Please tell me why they don't have
at the Army Reserve Center where all this equipment, any kind of security footage. Yeah.
And is there not security guards or Army people there?
I don't know.
You have security guards walking around regular.
Right.
I mean, I don't understand.
Right. Sounds like an inside job,
exactly.
Huh? That is, yeah. Have they recovered any of it? Have you heard?
This is. I just saw that yesterday.
That is a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That is obviously more than one person if you're driving 3 Humvees.
And if it is an enemy person that did this, not just like a American idiot,
right?
Then they're gonna have the same like they're gonna look like they're
right. They'll blend in.
Yeah, that is petrifying.
That is.
So whatever this place is,
fix your security. Get better locks. Have security guards. Get your security footage fixed.
They should have seen that going on.
Yeah.
While it was going on, and stopped it.
The thing is that's not, like I was saying, that's a group of people. It's not one person sneaking in and out. Yeah, and all the other things, like carrying 40 binoculars.
I want to see the security footage.
Right. Let's reenact it. Okay, so what we can do is...
Can I drive the armored Humvee so I don't get hurt?
Yes, you can. And we'll just like record us carrying like $40 store binoculars.
This to me sounds like they broke into like a junkyard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is what I'm envisioning. But it's an Army Reserve with tanks.
With tanks. And that equipment that they got should have, it was like locked up, or it wasn't just laying around.
No. Or was it? just like blown away
I'm too.
by this.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's crazy.
All right, so I
Whew.
have an option for you. So we can
Okay.
do a new Am I the A-hole? Or do you remember the Am I the A-hole where the uncle dodged the kids trying to push him into the
In the pool,
pool
yeah,
and the sisters were trying to sue him?
for the cell phone stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's an update for that one.
Okay.
So we can either do a new one that has a bunch of updates or we can update
Let's
on.
update that one.
Okay. All right. So this is a year and a half later. He just updated this in December.
Okay.
I don't know which episode we did this in, but he dodged the kids who were acting like buttheads,
Mm-hmm.
and the kids fell into the pool, and the parents jumped in to save the kids because they couldn't swim,
Yes.
and they had their cell phones on them, and
Yes.
then they wanted to sue the brother, which caused all family drama.
Yep.
Here we are.
Here we are, a year and a half later. Okay. This was, like you said, just right before Christmas this past year. So in August, my attorney let me know he'd received a letter for me from my middle brother-in-law. This was the first contact from any of my sisters or their husbands since they'd been arrested. It was a long letter, had a sincere apology, and a lot of information he thought I should know. Biggest thing was that he and my sister are divorced, not separated. He moved out and filed for divorce right after we made the settlement agreement. He and my middle sister kept it quiet until it was done. Their house sold in June and she's moved to an apartment. He told me that his being arrested last year, along with my other brother-in-law. Okay, that's right, because they broke into the vacation house. Okay.
Right.
And he had set up the
Security
cameras.
Because he's smart, unlike the Army Reserve.
Right. Right. Okay. For breaking into the vacation house could have cost him his job and killed his career, and that was a huge moment of clarity. He said that the dynamic between the four of them, my sisters, him, and my oldest sister's husband, had become totally toxic, that they are all borderline alcoholics or worse, and that he had to get away from that environment. He no longer speaks to my oldest sister or her husband. He also asked if he, my dad, and I could meet and have an extended conversation, as there were things he needed to talk about in person. Frankly, I was unenthused, but my wife thought it was worth doing. I asked my dad if he was interested, and he was, so I relayed a response to my now ex-brother-in-law through my attorney, and we met over lunch. We talked for over 2 hours. It was pretty exhausting. Ex-brother-in-law looked better than I'd seen him in well forever. He's quit drinking, he's in therapy, has lost a lot of weight, and looks fit. He was apologetic about all the BS he'd been involved in and apologized to my dad for hiding the divorce. Told us therapy is really helping him, asking me if the 5K he'd sent covered the damage to the vacation house. I told him it had, and thanked me for talking to the county prosecutor. He said he's strongly considering transferring to a new project that would have him living overseas for the next few years, that he really needed to reset his life but was trying to balance his mental health against not being a part of his kids' lives every day. Ex-brother-in-law also hit us with what for me was quite the WTF. Apparently, my sisters have hated me since before I was born, but have always hidden it from the rest of us. They liked things better when there were just two of them. He said when they drank, which was whenever they were together, my sisters would often fuss about me being the favorite child, how my folks gave me more opportunities than they had, how my doing well was a result of that, and that I didn't deserve my success. None of that made any sense to me or my dad. All three of us went to the same public schools, had dumb part-time jobs, etc. My folks paid for 100% of their college, not mine. I got a full scholarship. I was pretty shocked by this, but my dad was literally speechless. Dad eventually said he had no clue they felt that way as kids and that he and mom never favored any of us. He's still having a hard time with this. Personally, I'm embarrassed that I was clueless about it all my life, but it does explain a lot. Ex-brother-in-law warned that my sisters and remaining brother-in-law intended to put a full court press to alienate my folks from my wife and me. They also planned to keep the grandkids away from my folks to pressure them. He said that they're still 1,000% convinced that my folks are sitting on a ton of money. They want some of it ASAP and are sure I'd stop my folks from giving them anything. That got a laugh out of my dad because he and mom simply don't have any real money. They do have their house, of course. Ex-brother-in-law also told us that he and my middle sister had rented out the vacation house a total of 6 times over the years. He offered to pay me what they'd made. I declined and told him it was in the past. He also told us my older sister and brother-in-law had never declared the income from renting the vacation house. He did. He didn't want to get in trouble with the IRS. Both my dad and I spoke with ex-brother-in-law separately for a few minutes. Don't know what they talked about. I thanked him for his apology and for making things right financially. Also wished him well and told him I'd be willing to talk with him again down the road. Don't think that's going to happen. I probably could have been more forgiving, but I think he appreciated me not BSing him by acting like all this crap hadn't affected my wife and me. There's more, but it's less important, and this is too long as is. After ex-brother-in-law left, I asked my dad if he, mom, and I could sit down and talk about this. I didn't mean immediately, but that's how he took it. He called mom and let her know I was coming over, so I rolled with it. She was pretty hurt by my sister's plans to ruin her and dad's relationship with me and my wife, and to use the grandkids as pawns. She cried a lot and wanted to confront them immediately. Dad got her to put a pin in that for a while. Mom was also dumbfounded about me supposedly being the favorite. She feels like they were more strict with me because I had a hard curfew and my sisters didn't. To be honest, I barely remember that. It was 25 years ago. Side notes. Middle sister eventually told our folks she's divorced. She's currently living off of child support and her half of the home sale. Supposedly she's trying to find a job. My parents have gone low contact with both sisters. No idea how permanent that is, but mom seems like she's completely had it with them for the foreseeable future. They're spending a lot of time at the vacation house. We're up there over a month at one point. Ex-brother-in-law found my Reddit posts. He's not terribly happy about them, but feels they're more or less accurate, though obviously he found them slanted towards my point of view. He disagreed that he's boring, but said to be fair, he finds me boring as well. I can live with that. Our worlds don't have much overlap except my sister. We got the trust set up for my parents' house. I'm the trustee. All this has been emotionally draining for me. I decided it'd be a good idea for me to see a therapist again. I've seen one in the past, mainly for stress-related issues. I've been doing so far for a while, and it's definitely helpful. Therapist tells me my decision to stay no contact with my siblings is healthy for now, but also wants me to keep an open mind down the road. Merry Christmas to you all. Oh my gosh. Oh my Lanta. You're boring. No, you're boring.
I find you boring too.
I find you quite boring. That was a lot.
But that does
poor
not
dude.
surprise me about the sisters because they were
Right.
awful.
They were terrible. I'm totally picturing the sisters in Cinderella or like that kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's poor dude. Poor dude.
Yeah.
But I like the update. I like getting some kind of an update on it.
Yeah, me too. All right, so our book listeners, we are going to do our book review of The Boyfriend by Frieda McFadden. So if this is not for you, we will talk to you next week.
Yep.
If you are our lovely book listeners,
If you're smart.
here we go. So we did the blurb last week to
Yep.
give everybody the incentive to read.
Yes.
So
We don't have to read it again. We're not going to read it
no.
again.
So just a really short synopsis, not like the
Okay.
regular blurb. It's a psychological thriller that follows Sydney, who lives a quiet life in New York. After a string of failed dates that she went on, she meets a seemingly perfect doctor and starts dating him, but things start to become weird. Things that he's telling her, he's contradicting what
Mhm.
he's saying.
Yep.
And so she's on high alert.
Like obvious things.
Right.
His name.
His name, where he works.
Yeah.
So I did not love this book.
You didn't?
I didn't.
Okay. So I had read this one before.
Okay.
And had totally forgotten until like 2/3 of the way through the book. But when we had read some Frida stuff before, I think I just downloaded another one. One thing that I liked about this book is you get all the information at the very beginning of like who's involved. There's no surprise characters. You hear what's going on with who, and it does that past and present thing.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find that?
I didn't like the dual timeline because we don't get Tom until later. Not later, but like, I don't know, like a third way
Yeah.
through the book
Yeah.
as an adult.
Yeah.
And so you're sitting here listening to this, like, well, where is this guy going to come into play?
Right.
I didn't love this book at all.
Yeah.
I think the characters were so basic. I think Sydney
Yeah.
was like, you're just basic
Yeah.
30-something girl who is completely stupid. I thought she was dumb.
Stupid and just superficial.
Yeah.
And yeah, I get that.
I think that even like the trigger for her figuring out that Tom was her friend that died's
Mhm.
boyfriend by finding a black scrunchie.
Right.
Like a black scrunchie.
Right.
I mean,
Well, and it was funny because they were like, and I don't know what year this book is from, but it's like, who wears scrunchies anymore? And I was like, well, actually, a
scrunchies are
lot of people
back.
do now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. I thought the characters were super basic. I thought like they were like your average characters. I didn't
Not a lot of depth. They
um
didn't really build on
her
them.
ex-boyfriend was like I'm just picturing like your like
Clean cut white dude.
yeah,
Yeah.
like you're
Nothing.
basic.
Right.
Like I thought everything was so basic.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like any like depth to any of the characters.
Okay.
I guessed the ending.
No way.
Yeah.
That last twist? I mean, we can do
Yeah.
spoilers.
Yeah.
With Gretchen being Daisy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I figured Slug was gonna do something stupid
Yeah.
and get himself offed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so my thought process through the whole book was that Randy, that was the dude's name, Randy was Slug.
Yeah, and it
Kind
was
of
a red
wants you
herring.
to, yeah, especially with the ant farm.
Right.
And like it wants you to think that.
Yeah, I initially thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Then I thought, well, maybe Kevin was Slug
Yeah.
for a minute,
Yeah.
and that was the purpose of
Right.
the book, was to make you guess it. But I figured it out. I was
Okay.
like, it's either Slug or it's the girl.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe that Daisy died.
Yeah.
When he said that.
Because he was so cryptic about it.
Yeah, I didn't believe that.
I liked this one, but I didn't feel like there was, I mean, like I said, I had read it before and forgot.
I listened to it to the end.
Yeah.
But the only thing that I did appreciate about the book was that it reinforces to trust your intuition on
Yeah.
a date. Like if you are not vibing, like it's okay to be rude.
Mhm.
Which this Sydney is not
Right.
smart enough to do that. She wanted to be the nice girl or whatever.
All the time.
But it's okay to be rude. Like
Yeah.
if you are not comfortable, trust your gut.
Yeah.
And that led her to being almost assaulted.
Mm-hmm.
So this book just was not for me.
Yeah. Okay. I get it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had read it before, apparently didn't pull any triggers for me because I was halfway through the book again before I even remembered that I'd read
Yeah.
it. So I thought it was basic Freida, but it was still a fun-ish read. Like it kept me engaged. Like I didn't find it boring like some of our past books. I enjoyed it, but not my top 10.
Yeah. There's other books of hers that I have liked.
Yeah.
This just was not one of them.
I feel like we've read another Freida one that we didn't like either.
Yeah. I
Was it
think
The
there was,
Housemaid or something?
I don't know, there was one that we were like, this is exactly like the storyline of
Yeah.
a different book.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd give it like 3.5, 4.
Okay. I'd give it like 5 or 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're wrong. No.
Right. Right.
So next week's
Uh-huh.
book is Catch the Sun by Jennifer Hartman.
I know nothing about this.
I didn't either. It was just a rec on Book Talk.
Mm-hmm. Give us the blurb.
It is not like a murdery
Okay.
thing. I don't
Thanks for the prep.
Yes. At 7 years old, Ella Sunbury and Max Manning were inseparable until life scattered them in different directions, forcing Ella to abruptly leave town. A decade later, she returns to their senior year of high school, moving in across the street from her childhood best friend. But she's not the same girl Max once knew. She now lives in the shadow of her brother, a notorious felon on death row, convicted of a crime that shook the nation. Reeling from the fallout and shunned by her peers, all Ella wants to do is fade into the background. Max has little room for distractions, juggling responsibilities for a disabled father and a distant twin brother, but Ella's return reignites something within him. He wants to be close to her again, to understand her, and to turn their friendship into more. But as their relationship blossoms, new tragedy strikes and darkness threatens to tip their delicate balance. In order to find the light, they'll have to navigate the shadows, and to catch the sun, they must first endure the flames.
I think it sounds still good, even though nobody dies.
Well, somebody dies.
Well, I mean, but like
the
there's-
brother's in jail for
the
murder.
brother's in jail for murder, but like none of our characters are murdery.
Yeah.
That we know of.
Yeah.
Because it still sounds intriguing.
Yeah, I think this is like more like soap opera-y.
Yeah.
Is the vibe I'm getting. Not like serial killer
Not
or
gory
like
or right.
So I think it's,
Just drama.
yeah,
Ta-ta.
yeah. It's like a chick drama.
Yeah. I'm down. I'm down. I was just looking it up to make sure that it was available for me. I need to grab it real quick. So I got it on Hoopla.
I am like 3 hours in.
Okay.
So I liked it so far.
Good.
Yeah.
Good, good, good.
Yeah. So
Okay.
next week we will be reviewing Catch the Sun by Jennifer Hartman. So I think that wraps up our episode.
It does wrap up our episode.
Please like, subscribe, do all the things, tell your friends that you love us, and to please listen.
Please listen. Please leave us a review. We'd really appreciate it.
Yes.
Be nice, because this book starts with a B. I was going to see you next week. No, none of that. Be a sweetie and leave a review. And we'll see you next week. It's still bad.
All right. We love you.
We love you.
And
Thank you.
tell all your friends to listen to us.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
That sounded better in my head. Like most of the things I say.